Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about trust, authenticity, and honesty when building an audience. And I think these things are important because in the words of Pusha T, whichever rapper hot at the moment don't realize he a candle till he blow it. Now, I want to stress the importance of the word importance. The word important can easily be compared to the word urgent. There's a huge fucking difference. Urgent means now. Important means not now, but it has a very high impact on your future. And the reason I make this video is that humans are biologically not programmed to focus on what's important. It is not in our hardwiring to focus on things that are 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 50 years away from right now. The importance of these things has to do with the future. Trying to make a quick buck right now is not gonna ensure your financial independence. Is it? Unless there's a system to it that involves optimization, experimentation, and just overall maintenance for the sake of sustainability. A lot of people are not being transparent with their audiences. Maybe I'm being a dickhead by saying that. Maybe I'm just being an extremist with this philosophy. But dude, the people with the most longevity are the people who build the most trust, are they not? Gary Vaynerchuk has been putting out free content for over 12 years. Valuable content, by the way. Same thing with Grant Cardone. He's been doing it for 11 years or longer. It's stupid how honest these guys are with their audiences. It's great how much hate they get for it too, because at the end of the day, their honesty really shows their intentions. Does it not? Now, according to a lot of people who do or do not know him, Tai Lopez, the other figure of this incredible trio, may or may not be the most trustworthy guy. Eventually, I'll have a brand analysis video for each one of these guys I just mentioned, but that's part of his brand. It's important to know which of these things you want to cover for your brand. Gary Vaynerchuk's brand is the most heavily based on integrity and trust and authenticity, but it's the most commonly respected because of it. How many of his haters give him a pass on just being him is crazy. If I had to guess, at least, a downside on this is, I mean, you can't quantify these things, but his is probably the least profitable because of his constant focus on those things. A lot of his money, last time I checked, comes from being an angel investor in countless tech companies that his brand is like completely obsessed with the idea of promoting. That, his consulting, and his public speaking. But as far as authenticity, someone pointed it out in a video about Tai Lopez. I'll link it in the description. Great fucking channel, Charisma on Command. He said that Tai has a tendency in his videos to hold his iPhone camera with his arm extended outward. And many people might say it's not authentic, but here it is worth stressing the difference between authenticity and authority. Authority is a professional looking type of shit where you have this super awesome camera crew. But authenticity is the element of spontaneity with Tai Lopez that comes with just using an iPhone camera with your arm outstretched and this whole relatable selfie video format that no one else, by the way, is doing and putting tons of money into promoting the fuck out of on YouTube and Facebook and all these other platforms. Low production seems a little bit more authentic in this regard, especially as we move toward the future where low production is becoming higher and more accessible and the standards are completely changing. They kind of blend with each other, but that's a fucking totally different video topic. For anyone curious, like at all, my videos are meant to be a combination of the two, specifically kind of because of what I just mentioned. I want it to be like you guys are in the room with me, but I also want it to not look sloppy, despite me cutting every 2 seconds like a lot of people don't seem to like. I feel like the sloppiness kind of takes away from the experience, which I want to bring back for a second here to something else, protection from downside. A lot of, if not all of the most successful investors in history are obsessed with protecting themselves from the downsides of their investments. That's a huge reason they're so successful, is it not? Wouldn't it make sense to protect yourself from any downside of, you know, what decisions you're making? If I try to get you guys to buy something and you reject it, any trust, authenticity, or honesty I offer to the table throughout that video and all the other videos of mine that you have watched in the past, compiled together, I'm willing to bet is enough, generally speaking, at least, to make you guys not hate me for being like, here, I would like some of your money for this amazing thing. Not presented in that way, but you get the point, hopefully. It's the type of shit where you're more comfortable seeing an ad in a video from someone you trust than an ad from some fucking random guy. Like, here, I make $10,000 a month on Amazon by selling little clinky dinks out of my garage that I buy for bulk at Costco, and I'm gonna teach you how to do it for $500. Even though he kinda just said what he does, and for $500 he'll give you all the little details, because when you try yourself, you're gonna run into the fact that you don't have have those details. It's too big of a pitch, it's too much of a risk, too much downside potential. Not enough trust is built first to protect you from that. And that protection is a really important part of brand building. If people already recognize you, they already know where you stand, what you're about. They already know you. Like, if they met you for the first time and they're not like starstruck or anything, they'll be talking to you as if they've known you for years. I'd love for someone to approach me like that. Some people have, and any artist who has experienced this can definitely attest to it. It is the most humbling thing knowing that strangers aren't afraid to talk to you about things that you can help them out with. And they're confident too that you can help them out with it. I mean, why would they approach you otherwise? I've always longed to experience that. And now that it's happening, I cannot express enough gratitude for it. Now, I am not a salesman. I want to stress that, but I definitely study a lot of salespeople. My brother is actually in sales. I think he's getting so into it that he uses sales techniques now in our conversations to persuade me to look at things from his point of view. And sales are like the oxygen of any given company. And by sales, I don't just mean selling things for money. I mean selling ideas for, someone's thought or like attention or something like that. Sales is way more than just money. But I believe that a lot of sales, with money at least, are driven by brand expansion. And the reason I can sustain the growth of this YouTube channel at least is something I have learned from the giants like Apple and Amazon. It's that I have any growing amount of downside protection. Like, I have a job and I don't take shame in that. I mean, fuck bro, it's relatable. A lot of Americans have jobs, and like me, they would probably rather be self-employed because, all the different shit going on in this day and age, and make more money by doing less. I know by doing that in the most sustainable way, like, I'm willing to bet on this. It only makes fucking sense when you look at the most successful people doing these things. I know that I will last longer than so many people who are trying to do at least one or two things that I'm doing because of the fact that some of the things about me are so relatable. I'm looking at things I do best. That's it. And I'm at least acknowledging, like, look guys,
here is a flaw, this is another flaw.
A lot of people criticize me for this. Well, here's why I do it in the first place. I say these things all the time because how am I even gonna get them close to my side if I'm not willing to be like, well, I understand what you think and how you feel, and I want you to know that it does matter to me. I have this wild video where I talk about faking it until you make it, and self-image, like what are the merits and purposes and everything surrounding self-image and being something that you're not. And I mentioned my experience trying to move to Atlanta. They were like, you need to change your style
so you can be more relatable to the people.
If I wear something because it's more appropriate to the people and the culture of hip-hop, how does that build more authenticity in my brand? Maybe it builds more authority, but it's important to know who you're not targeting too. Because when you know who you are targeting, those people are more likely to gravitate to you because of that. For me, whenever I'm wearing that someone won't judge me for is one of probably thousands of the smallest or bigger things that will cause them to tell their friends about me without saying,
it's kind of weird though. He has this like Jew fro. He wears pink and yellow shirts.
He gets very animated and talks really fast, but dude, that's me. What other rappers on YouTube are doing this in this way? And I'm not mentioning this shit to brag. Like, I always say this in my videos. I'm mentioning it because, like, how can you apply this to your life? Because you do have these things. If I didn't believe you had them, I wouldn't be saying any of this shit about myself. But I don't want to wear a white hat in a crowd of people who wear white hats. I want to wear a fucking red hat. And if people don't fucking like that, I'm always gonna be asking myself,
do I like this?
If I don't like it, I change it. Simple as that. If you tell me
image is important
and say that I need to wear this or that because if I don't, then people are gonna look at me sideways, chances are, and I've tried this, it feels fucking wrong. And I am wearing these shoes and jeans and this sweatshirt with a look on my face that shows that, and it screams, dude, this is not who I am. Even in a place where it should feel right. And it has every reason to feel right. After even a week or two, again, you can't force something that needs power to move. My intentions are more about honesty and integrity than pushing myself to do what other people are doing. Learning about the culture is important, but there's a difference between the culture and culture itself. And I think we are on the cusp of an era that is beginning to encourage the blending of cultures to the point where the culture
doesn't mean anything anymore.
Anything, like
everyone,
everywhere, and everything else in the future, it is no longer a noun, it is a verb. Going straight for a sale or a sales pitch is a
death wish to the longevity of your brand.
unless you want that to be something you're known for. But that alone may or may not kind of hurt you in a lot of ways that you may or may not be aware of. If you're aware of them, kudos to you. Shit. But I don't know. I feel like personally it's important to think in layers. It's not just about making money. And isn't that kind of weird? Because the people who make the most money are the ones who recognize it. It's also about how you make it, why you make it, who gives it to you, and why they're buying what you're selling, and when. And if you think that the trust, authenticity, and honesty of your brand are not integrated with the paths of wealth being traveled by your customers' money from their wallets to your bank account, what do you think is? Because I have no fucking clue. I heard once that money is an echo of value. I also heard that money follows attention. Now, if you want to monetize your brand by converting attention you gather into money, wouldn't it make sense to say that trust, authenticity, and honesty are, ideal fucking values to shout into the canyons of your market, not only gathering more echoes of more money and more attention, and in return fucking more money and for extended periods of time, compounding into an optimally sustainable combination of two amazing fucking things? I like to think no one can disagree with this, especially in America in 2019. Doing what you love and financial freedom. What is the downside of any of that shit? Altogether. I guess that depends on what someone looks at as a downside. Isn't one man's downside another man's upside? Some people don't want to keep giving because they think they're not getting enough. Some people don't want to keep getting because they don't think they're giving enough. Some people care too much about one to bother leveraging it for the degree to which the other one takes place to be reached in return. Some people care so little about one that it results in the other almost irreversibly never happening in the end. What do you guys think? Which one matters more to you, and how does it matter? Why does it matter? Which one matters more to the people you're targeting? How does it matter, and why does it matter? Because this may be a very brutal marketplace, but it's now becoming increasingly free and empathic as well. The rest of the info I have given in this video, I like to think, is more than enough to give you a little insight, at least, on how to formulate your own answers to these questions. But let me know if you guys have anything you want me to talk about in future videos, and I'll give you a shout out if and when I use them. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up. There are links at the bottom of the description on all my social media. Also at the bottom of the description, there are links to my new production kits where you can find all the hardware and software that I use to make music and these videos. If you buy any, I get commission, which helps me build this channel and keep making these videos for you guys. I made all the beats in this video. If you want to use them, you can find links to each one in the description or at samuel.earth/beats. Make sure to leave a like if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already. If you could turn on that little bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.